Hey, Steelers Nation! Welcome back to the channel where we keep you updated with everything happening in the world of black and gold. Before we get started, if you're passionate about the Steelers and want to stay in the loop on all the latest news, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us bring you top-notch Steelers content week in and week out. Now, let's dive into today's headline. The trade deadline may have passed, but the ripples are still being felt, especially as we gear up to face our next opponent, the Washington Commanders. Steelers fans, this one's big. Our upcoming rivals, the Washington Commanders, made a blockbuster trade that could impact the game in a huge way. In a move that took the league by storm, the Commanders acquired Pro Bowl cornerback Lattimore from the New Orleans Saints. Let's break down why this matters and what it means for the Steelers as we head into this crucial Week 10 matchup. Lattimore is no ordinary cornerback. Drafted in the first round out of Ohio State in 2017, he quickly made his mark by winning Defensive Rookie of the Year and earning 4 Pro Bowl nods over his career. In 2021, he secured a 5-year, $97.6 million contract, showcasing the level of trust and investment the Saints had in him. So why did the Saints decide to part ways with one of their most decorated defensive players? That's a question still being debated around the league, but for now, the focus is on how this impacts the Commanders and their matchup with our Steelers. The Commanders, sitting at an impressive 7-2, have been one of the surprise teams this season. Led by head coach Dan Quinn, who previously worked as Russell Wilson's defensive coordinator, they've pieced together a winning formula with strategic free agent signings, bold draft moves, including selecting quarterback Jayden Daniels with the number 2 overall pick, and now, this eye-catching trade for Lattimore. Adding a cornerback of Lattimore's caliber to an already stout defense could pose a significant challenge for Wilson and the Steelers' passing game. With Lattimore now anchoring the Commanders' secondary, the challenge for our receiving core just got steeper. The Steelers recently bolstered their own offense by trading for wide receiver Mike Williams from the New York Jets. While some fans have mixed feelings about the move, Williams' arrival adds depth and a downfield threat that Pittsburgh desperately needed after trading away Deontay Johnson earlier in the season. The presence of Lattimore could complicate the Steelers' ability to spread the ball effectively. Known for his physical play, sharp instincts, and ball-hawking ability, Lattimore has a reputation for shutting down even the most talented receivers. With George Pickens emerging as the Steelers' WR1, it's likely Lattimore will be tasked with shadowing him throughout the game. This matchup will be a battle worth watching and could dictate the flow of the Steelers' offensive strategy. While the Commanders were busy strengthening their defense, Steelers GM Omar Khan was not sitting idle. In addition to acquiring Williams, the Steelers made a key move by bringing in edge rusher Preston Smith from the Green Bay Packers. This addition aims to boost a defense that, while formidable, has faced some injury challenges this season. Smith's arrival brings a veteran presence and proven pass-rushing ability to a unit already featuring stars like T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith. With Washington's strong offensive line and Jayden Daniels showing promise as a dual-threat quarterback, the addition of Smith could be crucial in disrupting their backfield and containing their high-powered offense. Speaking of bolstering the lineup, head coach Mike Tomlin provided some much-needed updates regarding injured players as the team comes off its bye week. Here's what we know. Corey Trice Jr., CB Trice has been on injured reserve since week 3 but could be cleared for action soon. His return would add depth to a secondary that will need all hands on deck against a team like Washington. Nick Herbig, OLB out since week 5 with a hamstring injury. Herbig's potential return would inject some fresh energy into the pass rush. In the 5 games he played earlier this season, he managed 2.5 sacks and 9 pressures, according to Pro Football Focus. His presence could be pivotal in aiding Watt and Smith in attacking the quarterback. Zach Frazier, Frazier has been one of the standout rookies for Pittsburgh, playing solid football until an ankle injury sidelined him. His return would be a huge boost to an offensive line tasked with protecting Wilson against a fierce Commanders front. Cordarrelle Patterson, running back/kick returner, the versatile veteran has been out since week 4 but started practicing ahead of week 8. His return would provide a dual-threat option in the backfield and a significant boost to the special teams unit. Tyler Matakevich, LB after a hamstring injury in week 2, Matakevich could be ready to rejoin the lineup. Known for his leadership and special teams prowess, his return could elevate that unit's performance. This game against Washington isn't just any game, it's the start of a 9-game gauntlet that includes some of the league's toughest opponents, all 6 divisional matchups, the high-flying Philadelphia Eagles, and the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Adding Lattimore to the Commanders' already formidable defense raises the stakes for this Week 10 showdown and sets the tone for the challenges that lie ahead. Tomlin and his coaching staff will need to be at their strategic best to navigate this upcoming stretch. With the new additions of Williams and Smith, the Steelers are betting on veteran savvy and midseason reinforcements to carry them through this tough schedule. But will it be enough? We're used to seeing the Steelers take a more reserved approach around the trade deadline. But this year, Omar Khan decided to shake things up. After weeks of swirling rumors, unsuccessful pursuits of star receivers like Brandon Ayuk and Devontae Adams, Khan secured a trade for wide receiver Mike Williams from the New York Jets and, more surprisingly, Preston Smith from the Green Bay Packers. The move for Williams was expected, given the team's urgent need to replace Deontay Johnson. But the acquisition of Preston Smith? That's where Khan caught everyone off guard. With a trade involving only a 7th-round pick, Pittsburgh landed a veteran outside linebacker who, despite a down year, has a proven track record of success in a 3-4 defense. Here's why Steelers Nation should be paying close attention to this trade. Preston Smith's dip in production in 2024 has more to do with scheme than with skill. Paul Brettel of ESPN La Crosse offered some crucial insight, explaining that Smith's performance was impacted by the Packers' defensive shift under new coordinator Jeff Hafley. Green Bay transitioned from their familiar 3-4 base defense to a 4-3, forcing Smith to adapt to a different role as a hand-in-the-dirt defensive end. In a 4-3 setup, Smith's ability to play in space is limited, which affects his overall effectiveness. This is a guy who thrived as a 3-4 edge rusher for nearly a decade, accumulating 58 sacks, 376 tackles, and a handful of forced fumbles and interceptions from 2016 to 2023. But in Green Bay's new system, those numbers took a nosedive. Through the first 9 games of 2024, Smith registered just 2.5 sacks and 19 tackles. His snap counts were dwindling, suggesting he wasn't fitting into the new scheme. This is where Pittsburgh steps in as the perfect landing spot. Our defense under Mike Tomlin and defensive coordinator Terrell Austin is built on a classic 3-4 scheme that prioritizes aggressive edge rushers. This is Smith's comfort zone, and it's the role where he's made a name for himself as a reliable, physical presence on the edge. Steelers fans, think of this trade as more than just adding depth. It's about restoring Smith to the type of player he was when he played alongside top-tier talents and thrived in his role. With T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith leading the charge, Smith won't need to carry the weight of the pass rush. Instead, he can focus on what he does best, disrupting the quarterback and creating havoc off the edge. From 2016 through 2023, Smith's consistency in a 3-4 defense was unmatched. Starting in 127 games, he demonstrated durability and playmaking ability with those 58 sacks, 7 forced fumbles, and 5 fumble recoveries. These are exactly the traits the Steelers want to see bolster a defense already teeming with star power but always hungry for more. Smith's presence could also mean greater flexibility for Tomlin and Austin. He brings versatility. While primarily an outside linebacker, Smith can slot in as a defensive end if needed. This flexibility could open up creative schemes and rotations that keep opposing offenses guessing. Imagine Smith rotating in to give Watt or Highsmith a breather without a significant drop-off in pressure. It's a scenario that could keep our defense fresh and potent for all 4 quarters. The difference between a 3-4 and a 4-3 defense might not seem huge to the casual fan, but for players like Smith, it's everything. In a 4-3, the defensive line has 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers, which puts a premium on defensive ends who can generate pressure with their hands in the dirt. For an edge rusher accustomed to the 3-4, where there are 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers, the role allows for more mobility, playing in space, and attacking from different angles. Smith's strength lies in being able to read the play while standing up, something he couldn't do as effectively in Green Bay's new 4-3 system. Returning to a 3-4 in Pittsburgh means Smith can play to his strengths, standing up, finding gaps, and wreaking havoc in the backfield. Steelers Nation, don't expect Smith to step in and immediately start posting double-digit sack numbers overnight. What we can anticipate, however, is a rejuvenated player who will complement our already dynamic pass rush. Think of him as the insurance policy that ensures Watt and Highsmith don't burn out during this grueling second half of the season. With 9 games left, including battles against some top-tier teams like the Kansas City Chiefs and divisional rivals, the Steelers need all the help they can get to maintain defensive pressure. Smith himself is likely looking forward to the change of scenery. With his snap counts declining in Green Bay, he's coming to Pittsburgh hungry to prove he still has plenty left in the tank. The Steelers coaching staff will no doubt be eager to harness that hunger and unleash it on the field. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you think the Steelers' moves at the trade deadline were enough to keep pace with contenders like Washington? How do you feel about the addition of Mike Williams, and are you optimistic about the return of key injured players? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth Steelers content and analysis. Your support keeps us going and helps us bring you the news and stories that matter most to Steelers Nation. Stay tuned as we continue to track the impact of these trades and how they shape our season. Until next time, keep that terrible towel waving and go Steelers.